Here in Rathkeale. My own name is Tom Clancy. We are here for Limerick Senior Hurling Championship action. It is the Whitebox Limerick Senior Hurling Championship. It is the Group 2 clash here between leaders Monaleen, who have 3 wins from 3, and the challengers to them this evening, Newcastle West, who have 3 draws from 3. Leo O'Connor, both teams with 100% records of different kinds. Monaleen, as we know, can jump the fence this evening, make themselves first team from this group into the quarterfinals. They can win the group, so a big carrot there for them. And for Newcastle West, the carrot is a little bit different. They can keep themselves in the hunt for a top 2 spot, and they can also ensure that they're playing senior hurling again next year. So a big game here in prospect.
Absolutely. Look, Monaleen obviously have the carrot to win the group tonight. 4 games, 4 wins, 8 points, and they'll be top of the group, so they'll be getting the 4th place team from the other group, so from the top group. So like they'll be trying to make their lives as easy as they can. But look, no doubt about it, there's a massive step up between the 2 groups, and that's one for Monaleen to challenge. The other side of it is Newcastle West side of it. We said three draws, 100% record with draws, but at the end of the day, Newcastle West are going to try and make this a dogfight as much as they can. There's a lot at stake for Newcastle West as well. Like there's 3 teams on 3 points in tier 2 of senior hurling. So from that point of view, it's all to play for still for Newcastle West. 2 wins, and they'll probably be in a quarter final.
Yeah, I said it most certainly would be. The conditions, I suppose, we should relay to you here. You may be able to hear it through our mics. Wind blowing from behind my back straight down towards the dressing rooms here. That's going to be a big thing. The toss, as we know, can be important in these games. Newcastle West, I think they were disappointed last week. They had 14 points each against Drummond Lacka. They have been probably, I would say, overall a low scoring team. They're not going to want to let Monaleen build up a bit of a lead here, because so far Newcastle West haven't shown that they have a significant arsenal to really hit those big numbers just yet anyway.
Yeah, but the one thing that I think is going to be a major factor tonight, and I said it to you, Tom, off air, I just think that this field is a little bit tight for the Monaleen type of game that they're going to be playing, and I think Newcastle West will want to close it down at every opportunity. As I said already, make it a dogfight as best they can, stay in the game as long as they can. So if Newcastle West start with the breeze tonight and build up, get a 4 or 5 point lead here, right, it could be a very intriguing battle in the second half with Monaleen, because the way the wind is blowing, the ball will tend to go long.
Yeah, it's the first of 4 games that we're streaming this weekend. Obviously the other 3 now we will be focusing on from tomorrow evening. We have 2 from Group 1, and then on Saturday we have the final game from that Group 1. We know Patrick Swell now are out of the running in terms of knockout hurling. We know in the Pierce League are already into the knockouts, but still plenty to play for in terms of teams wanting to get a direct route to the semi-final, the likes of Ballybrown and Doon yet to secure their place. So very intriguing weekend, and even to mention Ahan, 2 wins for them could see them into the knockouts as well. So big weekend for, I suppose, 5 of the 6 teams, and even if we bring the Well back into it, they don't want to be relegated from the top 6 back down.
Absolutely no, like Patrick Swell, and we all know it over the years, they're going to they're going to lay it all on the line, and same way with Ahan. There's massive opportunities, and both clubs don't want to go down to second tier hurling. So from that point of view, that's like a real intriguing game. And then you have the Ballybrown situation. Ballybrown are the improving team, and like they had a good win last week against Patrick Swell, as we all know, first time in 34 years that they got over the line against them.
Yeah, can they back it up now?
Yeah, exactly. They're the questions. So from a Limerick point of view, from a Limerick GA point of view, it's a very, very competitive senior hurling championship so far. Without shadow of a doubt, it looks like the Pierce League and Doon are the 2 form teams of the championship so far. But let's see what happens when we get to knockout stages, because all these teams, all these games are bringing on the teams that you like, as we mentioned already, the Ballybrowns, the Monaleens, whatever the case may be, that they're all, there's light at the end of the tunnel from now. So listen, all fully expect to push on.
Yeah, I think the pack certainly is tightened. I think many would agree around the county, but anyway, the focus here this evening is Monaleen and Newcastle West. We'll be back with team news shortly. Okay, welcome back to the Bog Garden here in Rathkeale. Good crowd filtering in for this one as the rain starts to descend upon this venue. Both sides, as you can see, going through their final paces ahead of this one. So let's now take a look At the teams which are selected for this one, Monaleen are going as per programme, named 1 to 15. They start with goalkeeper Jamie Power. Cornerbacks are Simon Griffin and Noel Clancy, with Brian Kenny in the middle of those at full back. The two Lyons brothers, Ronan and Larkin, are at 5 and 7, while Darragh Langan is at 6. Midfield pairing is Lachlan McHale and Joseph Fitzgerald. The half-forward line sees Captain Luke Murphy, Owen O'Driscoll and Andrew Latouche Cosgrove, while inside is the potent Dara Furland, Matthew Fitzgerald and Donncha O'Dalik. The Newcastle West team shows a couple of changes from last week's draw with Drummond at Lacca, and indeed a couple of changes to the team listed on the programme. And they start with goalkeeper Mike Culligan, who saved the penalty last weekend against Drummond at Lacca. The full back line sees Evan Sheehan, Seamus Hurley and Aaron Neville. Michael Cremin, Ethan Hurley and Todd Donovan are the half-back line. Into midfield comes Ruan O'Connor wearing number 28, and he is joined by captain Brian Hurley wearing number 9. The half-forward line sees Brian Foley, Con Hayes and Owen Hurley. The inside line sees Mike D and Cathal Hayes, and they flank number 17 William Hurley. Out of the team go Diarmuid Lyons, who has a slight knock, and Mike McMahon, the full forward. Leo, the weather, as we said already, are going to play a big part. I think the toss maybe just took place there out of my my eye line. I'm not sure who will want it, but I'm sure, or who won it, but I'm sure whoever has the wind will want to make it count as they play left to right, because there's a considerable breeze blowing down towards that clubhouse.
Absolutely, a considerable change in the weather in the last 20 minutes, because it's a dirty drizzle that's coming down, and it'll make the surface very, very greasy. It is grassy, and the field is in immaculate condition, but when you look at it, that's going to make it greasy. Playing against it's going to make it extremely hard. Suddenly, from being a 3 or 4 point breeze, with wind and rain, it's suddenly gone up to 5-6 points, and whoever team has the benefit in the first half, they'd want to start early, and certainly it's going to be a challenge for whoever has that.
Just looking at the Monaleen team, we just see them there going through their final piece of warm-up. A very, very young team overall. I suppose the key point of their attack is Donncha O'Dalik. They've put up some big totals so far, Leo. 223 last time out against Mungret St. Paul's, 121 against Drummond at Lacca, and then 120. So they've actually steadily improved even their scoring exploits. Very, very young team, and flanked with some experience there, as you were pointing at Andrew Latouche Cosgrove, and a couple more like that. But overall, a very, very young side. Yeah,
they're a young side, but they're beginning to mature now. A lot of them are 20, 23, 24, 25, 26 years of age. So they're coming to their peak, if you want it for a better word. But certainly there's 8 of those guys that on that starting Monaleen team that have played underage hurling in the last 5-6 years with Limerick. Like Larkin Lyons has been on the Limerick senior hurling band, Andy Latouche Cosgrove has been on the Limerick senior hurling team, Ronan Lyons is under 20, and I think he got 1 or 2 trials with Limerick senior hurling team. Yeah. So there's a lot of freshness and a lot of experience around that team. But the most important thing here, when we talk about Newcastle West End, is the fact that they're going to try and make this a dogfight as best they can, make it hard, make it tough, and it'll be dogged hurling from them, and that's what they really have to face into. One of the players that I've been really, really impressed with, though from the Newcastle point of view, has been their number 12, Owen Hurley. He's really, for me, he's showed a lot of potential, and one guy that you'd love to get your hands on and say, look, we'll see where this takes you at inter-county level.
He's gone into his natural position, shall we say, at wing forward as Eamon Stapleton of Doon readies the sliotar. As you may notice, the wind blowing from left to right, and we are underway here in the Bog Garden. And on it straight away is Brian Hurley, the captain, and he fires one in to Mike D, and D, with a bit of space, looks for the runner. That's Ruan O'Connor, and Newcastle West trying to create an opening for a first shot, but the hand pass back to D is overcooked, and they instead tidy it up, and this is Seamus Hurley moves it on nicely to a chance for a shot from Con Hayes. Doesn't connect with it overly well. Another one of those players, a bit like the Monaleen men who've inter-county experience at underage with Limerick, but Monaleen get their first possession of it, and it is Ronan Lyons coming out with it wearing the 5 jersey. In fact, that's Larkin. I think they've swapped numbers again. But anyway, we're underway. We're back down in this end as Ethan Hurley opens up the shoulders. Going to drop short, is it? Dangerous one for the defence to deal with. Big scramble for that sliotar. And in the end, it is Darragh Langan who comes away with the Limerick senior panellist this last 12 months or so. And he does well, tidies it up to Lyons, and he goes long looking for O'Dalik. O'Dalik beaten, or unable to gather it as Aaron Neville greets him. First touch of the evening for Mike Culligan. Sends it out to the aforementioned Owen Hurley, but he's beaten to it. And Owen O'Driscoll He was the Michael Connell Menswear man of the match last Friday in that win over Mungret St. Paul's. He's on it, but his pass is a loose one. Players just getting, I'm sure, to grips with the conditions. Again, a big tussle for possession. There's an advantage coming from Monaleen. Will they get a shot away? They won't. It was just a high challenge in there in the middle of the field, and it gives the ideal opportunity for Monaleen to have the first real shot at the posts for them.
I know the game is only on a minute and a half, but certainly Newcastle West, you can see what they're doing. They're trying to get the ball in as direct as and as long as possible in around the full forward line. But Monaleen so far have dealt with it very, very carefully. This should get them ticking over free right, nearly right in the centre of the field. A little bit of a reckless challenge is the word that I would use for it. But
yeah, so Larkin Lyons strikes it. Umpires agree that it's a good one, and the first scorer of the evening goes to Monaleen. Favourites, I'm sure, for this game. Favourites indeed to emerge from the pack at the very outset in this second tier Group 6, but they've got the early running here with the opening score. Mike D, a Maru Boher native, so I'm sure he'll know plenty of the Monaleen lads from his time with there, but is now settled in Newcastle West and indeed transferred to the club. So line ball for Newcastle West, taken quickly, and as Leo said, looking to go direct inside, but Lyons intercepts and jets it down inside, 2-on-2 inside, and going to win the race is the number 15, Donncha O'Dalik. We know all about his threat for goal. He decides though he's going to have to recycle possession, sends it across there, big collision of bodies in there, ball spilling around the square or the large parallelogram as Evan Sheehan tidies it up for the Magpies, as Michael Kremen now gets on it, and playing a lot deeper in his early exchanges is Con Hayes, and Hayes again not the cleanest of strikes, but his forwards asked to make something of it, as Cathal Hayes does. Mike D gets on it. D sends it up into the air, and Mike T with the ideal opening shot and opening score for his side. And just after 3 minutes, we're level.
yeah, 3 minutes gone, and look, I can't but be impressed with Newcastle West so far. Their attitude, their determination, getting on ball is really, really exemplary at the moment, and they're winning all the dirty battles at the moment.
Breaking onto it is Joseph Fitzgerald, sends it inside, but not on the same wavelength as Donncha O'Dalik, who was, I think, perhaps looking for it across the other side of the goal, so it means the defender can easily pick it up. Newcastle West know that a win will seal their place in the senior grade for next season, and it would also give them a big opportunity to stake a claim for a quarter-final place in their final group game. That is against Adair, as they turn the ball over. They're going to try and work it inside here. Darrell Langan meets Brian Foley with the shoulder, but Con Hayes picks up the pieces. It is just dropped in there. Umpires agree that it hadn't gone over the bar, or indeed under it. And Jamie Power breathes a sigh of relief as the ball comes out here. Plenty of black and white jerseys there, and immediately they swarm and immediately they turn it over. Cathal Hayes fighting for it inside. Spilling there for Simon Griffin. Griffin is wrapped up, and Darrell Langan has to come to his aid as William Hurley puts in a challenge on Langan, and the man they call Chopper comes away with it. Again, the hits coming in early as both these sides look to stake an early advantage. A chance for Owen O'Driscoll from a long, long way out. Owen O'Driscoll's effort though is a good bit to the right and wide.
Monaleen's first wide of the game. Certainly you would see Owen O'Driscoll's coming to this side of the field. That's his second or third ball he's after picking up this side of the field, so it seems to be a tactic from Monaleen.
Yeah, the ball breaking down there. Here's Ronan Lyons, and Lyons looked up but just didn't execute the passes he'd liked. Ethan Hurley does something similar, and the other Lyons, Larkin, the older of the two, gets on it. Here's Langan. You can see the style from Monaleen early in this piece as they move the ball to the middle of the field, as Joe Fitzgerald hasn't brought it in, and it's a second wide in quick succession. But you can see the style, the 15-20 yard passes from Monaleen. That's the target, that's what they want to do, even with this breeze. Absolutely.
You can see what they're at, and they're working the ball short. Darrell Langan is very, very good at executing the short ball out of defence, and you see him there, Joe Fitz picking it up. Yeah, he's good at picking up the pieces too, as Langan does so on this occasion, gives it to Lyons, and they move it on. They're trying to leave space inside for Furland and O'Dalik, and first O'Dalik, then Furland, and here he comes again. Limerick minor a couple of years ago, slipping there. It's time to steady himself with the shot to, where's it gone? Oh, it's beaten down by Mike Culligan. Probably unique in that, playing in goals in both hurling and football at senior level.
and doing a good job there as Darragh Langan comes onto the break. Ball is pulled on by Brian Hurley. Plenty in from Newcastle West. I think we might be able to pick it up on our mics here. They're here to support them in their latest endeavour as Con Hayes sends it across. There's a chance here just overcooked for Brian Foley, but Foley one-handed will get on it, and Foley, good block down by Ronan Lyons, tracked him all the way, and Lyons will try and work it out. Finds Noel Clancy. First possession for him this evening as Joe Fitzgerald gets on it. Fitzgerald just holding his arm after that one as they clear long. Look at the numbers back there for Newcastle West, and there's a push in the back on Seamus Hurley. Plenty of energy early on from Newcastle West to get to the breaking ball, Leo.
Absolutely, and to be honest with you, they're hurling very, very free, and they're working the ball through the line, and they're giving good ball into their forward line. It's just that they haven't converted it. They've had maybe half a chance of opening up the Monaleen defence.
Just that hand pass there was a little bit overcooked, is it?
Just a little bit overcooked. So they're really impressive so far, and they've taken the game by the scruff of the neck. It's nearly 8 minutes on at this stage, 7 minutes on. You can't be but impressed with him.
Yeah, Quilligan decides to come out. He's going to have a pop. It's going to go close, but I think it's just tailing. Indeed it is. And I remember him scoring a couple of those last year in the county final win over Gary Spillane, the Premier Intermediate grade. Also got one against Cashel King Cormac's in the Munster Intermediate defeat on home soil, but wavered on this occasion. Ethan Hurley is on it. Hurley, neat stick pass into Con Hayes. All the time in the world to pick off his shot, but has he brought it in enough? In fact, he has not. It is also tailing this time the other side of the post, and they'd want to make this early. I know they're against the breeze, but they want to start making a little bit of dominance show on the scoreboard, because Monaleen could be quickly finding their straps as Darragh Langan gets on it. Langan with the loose hand pass gives it to Owen O'Driscoll, and he sees Ronan Lyons is in space. Ronan Lyons with a diagonal ball into O'Dowlig. He loves that ball normally. Goes all the way out to the corner here in Rathkeale. And O'Dowlig from a very, very tight angle. What has he done with it? He hasn't brought it in enough. And his first effort of the occasion. But that's what they want to do. Isolate O'Dowlig inside and see can he make something of it.
Yeah, but you don't be shooting from 5 yards from the end line, to be quite honest. There was
no matter how good you are.
There was 3 or 4 runners coming through the middle there, so there was a far better ball on there than the option he took.
Yeah, no one told me that in the junior B match of the night. But anyway, here we go. Ball moved inside and looking to get in front. Cathal Hayes does well. Spins his man beautifully. And a fine score from Cathal Hayes.
Absolutely, came out.
That's where you shoot from.
Yeah, exactly. Just on the edge of the D, came out, gap possession, turned and popped it over the bar. Yeah. Direct as possible.
Every score, I'm sure, will give them energy at this early juncture as they work it back to Brian Hurley. Hurley decides to send it inside to William Hurley, but good defending from the fullback Brian Canny. They work it back to Jamie Power. And all the while they have space over on this side. Darragh Langan again touches it into Lachlan McHale. Now they're working it inside Furland and O'Dowlig. O'Dowlig holds off his man. O'Dowlig racing through. O'Dowlig's going to have a go from here. O'Dowlig sends it over. I think he was half thinking about a goal there, but decides the point is the option.
Yeah, if he went to his right and popped it over the bar, but more importantly from Dodig O'Dowlig, he's really come out there, taking control of the situation, turned and drilled the ball over the bar. There was a half chance to goal if he'd gone into his left, but look, great score from him. Yeah,
he was shackled all the way by Aaron Neville, but Neville could get next nor near the shot in the end. And from the puck out, there's a foul and a chance for Newcastle West, who are going to invite Cathal Hayes, the free taker, out for this one. So, yeah, Darragh Langan wasn't sure he's taking it, but Hayes is trotting out as the rain continues to fall here.
Ethan Hurley has been very impressive so far in the game from Newcastle point of view. He's read everything perfectly. He's almost a sweeper, but it seems that Monaleen are not picking him up, to be quite honest. They're getting the numbers out around the middle of the field. Owen O'Driscoll is out around the middle of the field there as well, so Monaleen's tactic is just trying to swarm out there and create the space inside for Donegal O'Dowlig. But look, Ethan Hurley has read it very, very well so far.
So Hayes lifts and strikes, doesn't connect overly well with it. It's dropping inside there, pulled down by D, and the goalkeeper Power comes up with it and can tidy it up, but not the greatest of free. Not one that Cathal Hayes will want to be thinking about as this game goes on. As O'Driscoll looked a bit hurt there. It's turned over and a chance for Owen Hurley, but his effort has tailed as well. So 6 wides between the two sides, split evenly, I think, 3 apiece.
Yeah, 3 apiece, both because they're being guilty now in the last couple of minutes of opportunities not taking them.
Monaleen look to work it out. Brian Canny slips and Newcastle West turn it over. Advantage coming for them. There's a chance for Cathal Hayes and he's going to come back for the free.
Yeah, you see that, like,
set a bit of a trap there, did it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Dara was swarmed there. The minute Dara Lang came on the ball, tried to break the tackle and he was swarmed. Almost like a football tactic there I mentioned that game. But no, it's just, it was really, really very impressive from the Newcastle West point of view, and turned over and won a free then from the resulting turnover.
Yeah, so a little bit easier, shall we say, for Cathal Hayes, a little bit closer to goal. I'm sure he wants to dry the sliotar and dry the boss of his hurley, as Hayes much neater this time, and the umpires have decided that he's nailed it. So first score for him from a free, as we just have to puck out retake it. But credit to the start from Newcastle West, and they continue it as this game goes on. Puck out goes very, very long, breaks there, and both players starting to gather it. Owen Driscoll was one of them. Back there now is Captain Luke Murphy. Murphy tries a couple of times to pick it, and Todd Donovan ends up knocking it out over the line. So
just looking in the replay here, just a small little bit of a tap down in the hurley. And the Monaleen crowd just trying to get onto the referee there to get that free, but look, one of those 50-50 ones. That's
for sure. As the ball worked back to Lyons, moves it out now to Owen O'Driscoll, and O'Driscoll's effort, well, he had a lot more time than was reflected in the net result, because he skews it to the left, and Monaleen will be a little bit disappointed with this start.
Yeah, they will. 11 minutes in now. 12 or just more. Nearly 13 now at this stage.
Flying by, isn't it?
Yeah, it's flying by. Nearly halfway through the first half. So I wonder where they want to start picking up a few scores, let me tell you, and laying their foundations down. They'll be disappointed with the start. 13 and a half minutes in, and only 2 points on the board. Yeah,
it's not what they've been about so far this season. There's been good opening starts to all 3 of their games so far, and it's been the second half has been a little bit more problematic for them, but it's resulted in 3 wins from 3 as Larkin Lyons gets on it. Lyons sends it inside to Luke Murphy. Murphy moves it on to O'Driscoll, just had to go back for it, and that allows Hurley to come back on the cover. O'Driscoll swarmed by Owen Hurley. Big fight for possession. Newcastle West hungry for it. Ethan Hurley kicks it towards himself. Oh, lovely little pick up, and the referee says play will continue. Ethan Hurley lost it. I think he has it again, bursting out of that full back line. Monaleen turn it over. A chance for Luke Murphy from a very, very tight angle. Brilliant score from Luke Murphy. Knew where the posts were, decided he only had a half a second to get it off, and a very, very good score from Murphy.
Absolutely. Ethan probably had, in fairness, the work rate of the Monaleen forwards there was exemplary, and Ethan felt he nearly had the ball cleared twice, but got turned over, and a great score from Luke. Great, like 35 yards out on the sideline. Great score.
Yeah, brings us level again. So level for the third time, as ball sent inside to Furlan, just under. Misread that and kind of jumped under it. So Newcastle West breathe a sigh of relief as Mike Quilligan clears his lines. Beneath it are the Lyons brothers, and they move it back to Darragh Langan. Langan sensibly looking up and decides to pick a pass, which finds its way to Matthew Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald out in that 45. Is he hit late? Well, it doesn't really matter because it's gone over the bar, and Matthew Fitzgerald is on the scoreboard. And good play from Darragh Langan. Good finish by Matthew Fitzgerald. Yeah, but more importantly out of Matthew, to be quite honest, he came out, gathered possession, one touch in the hurley onto the hand, and turned it off his left over the bar. Great score. You can't beat that. Yeah, back
the speed of it more than anything else.
The challenge was coming, but it was late because he got it off so quickly. As Owen O'Driscoll gets on it, sends it inside, looking for O'Dalik. Good defending there by Aaron Neville. Watch the flight of it all the way. Neville met by 2 red jerseys of Monaleen. Play will go on. Everyone wants to get that sliotar into their hand, or at least get it away from goal. Eventually there's a slight nudge in the back, I think it is, and a free out coming for Newcastle West.
Yeah, just looking at here in the replay, certainly just a small little bit of a nudge in the back, and Mr. Stapleton gives the free.
Yeah,
Mike Quilligan coming down the side of the field. Clever goalkeeping.
Yeah. Watch the switch. Quilligan opens the shoulders. Is it going to turn in? It is. Beautiful score. Mike Quilligan. Well, you can't beat class, you can't beat experience.
No, that's real heads up hurling, clever hurling. He saw the opportunity this side the field. The free came directly across the field and bang, straight as a die over the bar.
Yeah, brilliant strike. Backed himself to do it, and levels is up again. 4 times they've been level. They're trading blow for blow really at this point, as again Monaleen, even with that breeze, go short, and what it means with the press is they have to come back to Jamie Power, and he decides going to go route one down the middle. Darragh Langan is beneath it. Bounces up nicely for him. Langan skipping through a couple of challenges, and he's over carried the ball. The Monaleen support felt he was probably fouled and felt he was pulled back. We're just watching it ourselves here. Yeah, looked perhaps his hurley was pulled, and I know the Newcastle West man ended up without a hurley. So
yeah, there was 2 hand challenges in it though. To be quite honest, I can see his frustration. But look, without shadow of a doubt, he overcarried the ball. But was he pulled and dragged when he was doing that?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, he definitely did eventually overcarry it. But look, that's the call from the manager. As Mike Quilligan comes out to take the free. Wasn't thinking of another score from long range, so sends it in. But Noel Clancy will tidy it up. And Monaleen starting to get on top in that defensive third, but they've moved the ball out nicely through Simon Griffin, and Lyons sends it inside. O'Dalik puts up the left paw, gets it. O'Dalik, is he going out? Eye for goal. O'Dalik, zips to the right and wide. Well, the umpire even had to duck from it. But again, that is what O'Dalik is out. He loves that one-on-one combat, as you like, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
pulled it out of the sky, just couldn't get the finish away.
Absolutely, he came out there, grabbed possession, turned and struck back inside. That was absolutely a bullet of a shot.
Yeah, umpire might need a helmet if another one coming like that, as Andrew Latouche Cosgrove gets on it, gives it to the number 2. Ball has gone out over the line. Simon Griffin met by 3 or 4 black and white jerseys, and eventually the line ball is signalled in favour of Newcastle West, and getting to know each other down there. So
it's the setup of Newcastle West at the moment. The way Monaleen has set up is actually suited Newcastle West, because there's bodies out around the middle of the field and it's very, very congested. So, you know, I know when they're getting quick ball in, Donegal Dalek looks very, very dangerous inside, but it's getting the ball in. It's a little bit of a delay getting it in there.
Yeah, and Andrew Latouche Cosgrove is underneath this one. We'll get it at the second attempt. He lengthens the grip then, and Andrew Latouche Cosgrove is on the board himself. 2 in a row now, or sorry, not 2 in a row. A reply to that score, so they nudged back in front.
It's absolutely brilliant to see Andy back. To be quite honest, he suffered with injuries over the last year and a half, and it's great to see him out in the field. And he's beginning to get fitness levels back in every game. He's improved at Monaleen this year. Yeah,
he's really been hampered by injuries down the years, hasn't he? But when he's been fit and when he's played, he's been
superb
a real talent. Speaking of talent, Dara Furland from the middle of the field. That one is going to just tuck inside the post. And Furland, with a bit of a pot shot, makes it count, and the first 2-point lead of the game for either side comes for Monaleen. Starting to get on top around the middle, but here comes Ruan O'Connor. Spills now to Con Hayes. Hayes off having a bit of a run. Gives it to Owen Hurley. Hurley turns on to his left. Is that going to go close? It's going to just stay outside.
Newcastle West is 4th wide of the game. You certainly have expected Owen, to be quite honest, to bang them over the bar, because they're the early rounds of the championship. That's what he's been very, very good at.
Yeah, it was man of the match, if I remember correctly, against Mungard in round 1, as they carry the ball out now to Monaleen. Here's Luke Murphy, sends it off to O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll floating kind of from wing to wing, tries to lift it, but Seamus Hurley watched it all the way. Newcastle West, with the numbers back now, can try and work it out. Here's Mike D, playing a lot deeper than the number 13 would suggest on his back. D rampaging through the middle, flicks it for himself. Eventually though, the number of red jerseys get in his way. Lyons sends it inside. It's breaking inside there. Has it gone in? It is! It skipped into the net. There's protest from the goalkeeper. I think it just bounced up off the turf and had crossed the line by the time Mike Quilligan got to grips with it. And Andrew Latouche Cosgrove was under the dropping ball,
I think he went direct and it hopped off. Here we go, we're having a look at it here. An opportunity for Mike D to offload it when he was coming out with it. And certainly probably should have. And next thing, the ball ends up in the back of the net below at the far end of the field.
Yeah, I think it was Ronan Lyons with the delivery, but we'll try to have a look at that in a minute when we can. But carrying on and looking to reply, Todd Donovan met there by Darragh Langan. The hits beginning to come in this game as Monaleen through Dara Furlan move it all the way off now. Owen O'Driscoll from between the 45 and 65. O'Driscoll's effort, the umpire goes for that white flag, and just like that, Leo, they have a 6-point advantage. They've really opened up.
Yeah, but more importantly from Monaleen's point of view, they got the stroke of luck. The ball went directly off of, and it bounced on the skiddy surface, and unfortunately for Mike, it hopped off his chest. But look, Monaleen have really begun to open up. They're beginning to express themselves, and they're working that bit harder out around the middle of the field, turning over the Newcastle West boys.
Yeah, O'Donnell and Hurley meet, but it's like Hurley got a bit of a late one there, as carried up through by Cathal Hayes. Free coming for Hayes. He's just held up along the way, held by the arm, and a bit of respite, I suppose, for the Newcastle West rearguard, and a chance for them to try and get a score back after conceding. I think they've conceded 1-5 to a point and 1-3 without reply.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, Newcastle West, now is the time for Newcastle West to dig in. There's 22 minutes gone in the game, so from that point of view, 8 minutes to get to half time, try and get that scoreboard ticking over again. It's about 10 minutes since the score, to be quite honest. So working hard, you can't beat hard work. No, that goes over the bar, that goes wide, goes wide.
It's tailed, yeah. And unfortunately for young Cathal Hayes, the frees haven't fully gone to plan so far. Another wide for them as Monaleen quickly get on with the puck out, but Todd Donovan read it all the way. They're working it around. Here are the men from the West. Carrying it out is Seamus Hurley. Gives it back to Con Hayes. Hayes sends it inside 1-on-1. That's good defending though by Simon Griffin. Griffin kind of pushes his man out of the way, but doesn't gather it, and allows Cathal Hayes to come in. This is Brian Foley. Foley looking for a runner, and eventually Foley gets it at the second attempt. Here's Cathal Hayes from a tricky angle. Hayes' effort though is going to go like he's free a moment ago. Across the face of the goal and wide.
Yeah.
Monaleen straight away get on with the puck out, and here's
Joe Fitz.
Yeah, Joe Fitz carrying it, sending it inside. Now there's a bit of cover. It still finds its way though. Skids off that surface for O'Donnell. O'Donnell
wins a free.
Yeah, just slipped there as he went through the tackle. I think Brian Hurley, the Newcastle West captain, acknowledged that, and it's going to be a tap over free. Well, in these conditions you just don't know what way the ball will come up, but it should be a routine enough free for Monaleen. As the number 14, Matthew Fitzgerald, taps it over. And Newcastle West need something to land in the next minute or two, I think, Leo, just to give themselves something to cling on to, because Monaleen, as they've shown in their other games, when they get a proper match, they can really make it count.
They have, like as I said, since the 15th minute of the match, Monaleen seem to have woken up and taken the challenge. As I said, they're winning breaking ball, they're winning the tackle. Their tackle count has really gone up. And suddenly they realise they're in a game. I think it's more that Monaleen didn't really start that well, to be quite honest.
Worked up to Con Hayes, sensibly puts the brakes on, looks inside, gives it to Brian Foley.
Owen Hurley getting onto this one.
Has to just chop on it to keep it back in play. Monaleen with the defenders back there as carry a ball out, as this is Ronan Lyons, gives it to Larkin. Larkin sweeps it up that line and asks Andrew Latouche-Cosgrove to win it, and he does. Decides to put it straight into his hand, spills it. O'Donnell is an option, so too is the man here in the middle, that's Owen O'Driscoll. Sensible hurling again, gives it across to Joe Fitz. Joe Fitz has time, takes his solo, and Joe Fitz on the run. Brilliant score. And in fairness to them, Leo, they waited until the correct opening came. No one decided to take on a silly shot, and eventually Joe Fitz was in space to get
that
one.
Game was all about the heads up hurling, as I would call it, to be quite honest. Andy Latouche-Cosgrove coming out, winning good ball, lifted his head, struck it into Owen O'Driscoll, and Owen O'Driscoll popping it over to this side of the field to Joe Fitz. Hurling's a very simple game when it's played at that pace, and very simple.
Yeah, that accuracy as well of every part of that move, including the finish from Joe Fitzgerald. And you'd probably see the skill level. They could hit that on the run with such perfection, drifted in over the bar. He's starting to mount up against Newcastle West, but they have a free here now as Owen Hurley is upended by Brian Kenny. And what are we heading to the last, just inside the last 4 minutes. It looks like they've swapped free taker. Indeed they have. Owen Hurley will take him now. It just wasn't really happening for Cahalays. I think he'd one for 3 or 1 from 4 maybe. And I think Owen Hurley, probably the more experienced player in terms of seniority, decides he's going to just take them over and needs this one to go over given the concession in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's just an important free now for Newcastle West. Just get them back into it, get that scoreboard ticking over.
So 12 points to 4. A trail as
wide.
Oh, he's just mishit it ever so slightly, and all that means is that
all these are going to count with coming in. The last 5-6 minutes of a game. Turning around playing with the breeze in the second half. They'll be sorely regretting these.
Monaleen for once go along, and Latouche Cosgrove gets on. It looks for O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll through the bodies. Tried that extra pass. Maybe he could have taken it on there himself. There's a scrum for the possession inside there, and there's eventually a push in the back as Matthew Fitzgerald takes exception to something afterwards. But I wonder, it's easy for me to say, could Owen O'Driscoll have backed himself there? He decided he was trying to pick off the other pass, but
yeah, he was trying to come back and field more than anything else. Maybe that was time to back himself and stick the ball in the back of the net. There's a few altercations going on down the other end of the field now.
Hugging and kissing, I think, is it? Up at the other end is
a few handbags, as we'll say.
Yeah. They haven't played for a while in hurling anyway. They're just getting to know each other once again. And Stapleton stops the play, doesn't allow the freebie taken. He's going to work his way up. I think the umpires are keeping their hands to themselves as well. They're just going to let they do an official deal with this one. Of course, his brother Darrow will be lining out for Doon tomorrow evening in one of our 2 stream games. That's Doon versus Ballybrown. The other game we have tomorrow for you is Patrickswell versus Ahan from Group 1 of the Whitebox Properties Limerick Senior Hurling Championship. So plenty of action to come over the weekend as Newcastle West struggling now to win the ball in that half-forward line that had looked quite lively early on. Worked inside to O'Dollig, uses his pace and sensibly just gets it out to the side. O'Dollig coming away from goal. O'Dollig has blazed it and he's getting his free.
He's getting his free, yeah. When he came out and turned there, he was probably fouled on the turn. A little bit of pulling and dragging.
And Leo, how do you defend against someone like Donnchadh? He wants that ball in. He can take it high, he can take it low, but he wants it. I think mainly he wants it, that ball we just saw there right in front of him. So it's easy to say just stick a man in front of him, but I mean, is there anything else Newcastle West can do to halt that?
Hold your shape more than anything else. Your positional sense is really, really important. And when you see it there, when you're looking at the clip that's right in front of us, there was only two Monaleen players, 2 Newcastle West players inside the 50-yard line. So from that point of view, Newcastle West are leaving themselves a little bit exposed back there, and Monaleen are benefiting, particularly Donnchadh O'Dollig.
Yeah, and Matthew Fitzgerald also benefiting in terms of tapping over the free as we head towards the final dying embers of this opening half. A 9-point advantage suddenly opened up by the City Club. Contest for the puck. A lovely pick up by Mike D, and D racing through. He was tracked all the way. His effort dropped short. Black and white jerseys there, but so too the red of Monaleen as Simon Griffin comes powering out with it. He's carried it a long way. Eventually his arm is held and eventually it will be a free out. But just looking at my notes here, Leo, I mean, that's what it was 4 points apiece. That's 1-5 to no score in the space of 12 minutes. It's been pretty rootless from Monaleen. They haven't missed too much either, and they've left Newcastle West with a big mountain to climb.
More than anything else, though, it's the way Monaleen changed their game.
The manner of
the intensity, their work rate. They knew they were playing well below par. It was like as if they came out here and taken the game for granted, to be quite honest. And they've really taken on the challenge now, moved the ball at pace, and created the opportunities. And they're popping the ball over the bar. And with that little bit of look for the goal, as well. So there are things that you have to take.
That's for sure. Yeah, I was talking to Owen Brislan briefly before the match, and he knows that a win in the final 2 games will do them, but he wanted to do it this evening. His side have responded so far. Big breaking ball inside there as they all work back to Owen Hurley, and finally Newcastle West get one back, and it's that man Owen Hurley who comes onto the breaking ball and taps it over.
Probably going in at half time.
Yeah, indeed they are.
There you go.
8 down, yeah.
8 down half time, but it was a good score for Nolan Hurley, and it was a score that Newcastle West badly needed.
Yeah, so what's going to have to change, Leo, for Newcastle West in the second half? So they trailed by 8. We saw some bright sparks in the first maybe 10-15 minutes, but they kind of faded out of it after that.
Absolutely, yeah, but the more important thing for Newcastle West in the first 15 minutes, if you look at it, was their work rate, their intensity, and that seemed to drop, or did Monaleen, which I think is what happened. That Monaleen came into the game, came into the game, went up a gear or two, took the scores that became available, worked that a little bit harder, and added pace to the game and simplified it. And they've really pushed on, as we said, 1-5 in the last 15 minutes of that half. So, credit to Monaleen, but certainly Newcastle West are far from out of it now, to be quite honest. If they get their work rate up and get a score or two and take the challenge to Monaleen, it'll be a challenge for Monaleen in the second half. Let's see where they're at now, because they're one of the teams that, there's a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel from, and that, get out of tonight they'll get out of their group and then hopefully push on for a quarter final.
Yeah, okay, well, we're going to take a break here in Sean Finn Park in Rathkeale. Don't go anywhere, the stream will stay live, and we'll be back to you with the second half very shortly. Is again not the cleanest of strikes, but his forwards asked to make something of it, as Cathal Hayes does. Mike D gets on it. D sends it up into the air, and Mike T with the ideal opening shot and opening score for his side. And Darragh Langan meets Brian Foley with the shoulder, but Con Hayes picks up the pieces and is just dropped in there. Yeah, no one told me that in the Junior B match of the night, but anyway, here we go. Ball moved inside and looking to get in front. Cathal Hayes does well, spins his man beautifully, and Furland and O'Dalik holds off his man. O'Dalik racing through. O'Dalik's going to have a go from here. O'Dalik sends it over. Monaleen turn it over. The chance for Luke Murphy from a very, very tight angle. Brilliant score from Luke Murphy. Up and decides to pick a pass, which finds its way to Matthew Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald out in that 45. Is he hit late? Well, it doesn't really matter because it's gone over.
Clever goalkeeping.
Yeah. Watch the switch. Quilligan opens the shoulders. Is it going to turn in? It is. Beautiful score. Yeah, Andrew Latouche Cosgrove is underneath this one. We'll get it at the second attempt. He lengthens the grip then, and Andrew Latouche Cosgrove, when he's played, he's been a real talent. Speaking of talent, Darragh Furland from the middle of the field. That one is going to just tuck in. Suggest on his back. D rampaging through the middle, flicks it for himself. Eventually though, the number of red jerseys get in his way. Line sends it inside. It's breaking inside there. Has it gone in? It is! It skipped into the net. Through Darragh Furland, move it all the way off now. Owen O'Driscoll from between the 45 and 65. O'Driscoll's effort, the umpire goes for that. Is the number 14, Matthew Fitzgerald. Still hurling again, gives it across to Joe Fitz. Joe Fitz has time, takes his solo, and Joe Fitz on the run. Brilliant score. And responded so far. Big breaking ball inside there as the ball worked back to Owen Hurley. And finally Newcastle West get one back. To Sean Finn Park here in Rathkeale as Newcastle West re-emerge from their dressing room. Leo, big hill for them to climb, but I'm sure they've tried to change a couple of things in that half-time interval.
No, listen, without shadow of a doubt, they'll fire themselves up and they'll have one hell of a go here. No, Newcastle West, as I said, they started the game really, really well. I don't think it's that they've done anything wrong. I just think that Monaleen have stepped up the pace of it and just simplified it. And what I would term, as I said during commentary, in the first half played heads up hurling and found their men and created the opportunities, created the space and struck the ball over the bar. Got a bit of luck with the goal, and these are things that happen in championship matches, and you know you can control the controllables, as they say. But when you get a bit of luck like that, they're things you take along the line.
Yeah, this group, obviously, Monaleen, as it stands, have the group one now. Obviously, they've 30 minutes or so to go to complete that. But there's a fair scatter of clubs, including Newcastle West, Adair, Kilnine Gedney, the three of them are on 3 points. Mungret not out of the picture for a top 2 spot with 2 points from their 3 games, and then Drummond and Lacca with a point. Plenty still to play for in this weekend. We've the other 2 games in this group tomorrow evening as well.
Look, without shadow of a doubt, and I just think that the most important thing here is that there is a group leader here, and that's gone into the quarter-final already. So the other teams, they've all something to play for the rest of the year. Look, I'm not saying that Newcastle West are out of this, but it's fairly ominous at the moment. But let's see what happens. That's
for sure. Ball in and underway as the captain, Brian Hurley, gets on it, sends it inside, looking for Mike McMahon, half-time sub, as I've just worked out as they work it, looking for a score there. Ruan O'Connor bearing down on goal. O'Connor goes through, appeals for a penalty, waved away. Con Hayes pushed off by 2 or 3 Monaleen men. They scramble it out to the side. Hayes is on it, Lyons is there for company. There's a free incoming, so McMahon is in, who has vacated. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll figure it out momentarily for you.
I think it was Ronan Lyons there. I wouldn't say it was just a misplaced hand more than anything else, and Newcastle West player lost his balance, went out in front of him. The most important thing, though, is the start of the second half here, as Mike McMahon has come on for Newcastle West. That means Route 1 go along.
Yeah.
Big, tall, huge, strong man, and you see the disruption he's caused in there already early in the opening minute of the second half. So Newcastle West, they're changing back to their free taker here again. Cahill again. So
Cahill nails it. Yeah.
Straight over the bar, so good start for Newcastle West.
That's for sure.
7-point game.
Yeah, the wind is with them, but it looks momentarily anyway has died, and Darragh Langan is here on the loop for them. Langan back to Lyons, and Ronan Lyons sends it inside, looking for O'Dalik. Loves that ball dropped in front of him. O'Dalik puts the brakes on, has a go, and the umpire reaches for that flag. Donncha O'Dalik knocks it over, and the response is immediate from Monaleen.
Yeah, absolutely. He's played really came into the game after 15 minutes, and as you said, 2 scores on the board now and playing heads up hurling.
O'Dalik, he's been very, very impressive back there, centre half back. He gets on it, works it up towards the captain, Luke Murphy. Murphy goes beyond the end at 65. Flicks it inside for Latouche Cosgrove, who's kind of swapped probably since the end of the first quarter. O'Dalik comes on the turn, and O'Dalik tidies it up and knocks it over the bar. Another run for him.
Absolutely, you see the benefits though of the quick ball in, and without shadow of a doubt, Donncha O'Dalik's top class finisher, coming out, getting out in front, turning and popping over the bar, popping the bar over the bar with his left hand. Last point was with his right hand, so
yeah, he's potent as Paul goes very, very long looking for Mike McMahon. Simon Griffin gets on it. Then work it out now to Joe Fitzgerald, gives it back to Ronan Lyons. Lyons and passes it off to the runner, who was Lachlan McHale. McHale though does well, and O'Dalik looking for another one, and Donncha O'Dalik is proven to be a scoring machine since the half-time break. No one getting near him. He
mightn't have started the game the greatest, but I tell you this, he's putting the ball to bed, putting the game to finish early in the second half. 3 points in a row for Donncha.
As the advantage coming shot goes in, Newcastle West bench up in arms, not happy with the aerial challenge on, I think it was Con Hayes, or in fact it was it was Con Hayes, the number 11, and it means that Cahill will get the free, and there's a yellow card for the number 7, who listed on the programme is Larkin Lyons, but his brother stole his jersey, so it's Ronan Lyons with the yellow card, as his high challenge is punished.
Yeah, certainly. Like if you look at it, 113 to 6 points at the moment on the scoreboard.
Even 3-1 since half time.
Yeah, 3-1 since half time. As I said, they brought it back down to a 7-point game, and certainly then Monaleen opened up and have really put the sword to Newcastle West.
Cathal Hayes though goes about fixing that for his side, knocks over second free. I'm sure the two of those, not the easiest of angles, will have done him the world of good in terms of confidence, adding to his tally. He's back on the free since one taken by Owen Hurley as they go long. Here's the number 13 Mike Deek is inside to Con Hayes. He moves it on to number 29. It's Brian Nix. Sorry, another half-time sub there, Brian Nix. And I think one of the men that made way was I think it might be William Hurley and Ruan O'Connor who made way, but there's a late block there on the hand. Brian Hurley's going to be in a bit of trouble with a yellow card, I think.
Yeah, nasty one out, to be fair. Deservedly a yellow card, could break a finger.
Frustration, I suppose.
Yeah, frustration. Certainly just needs to tidy up that on tender hooks now for the rest of the game.
That's for sure, especially around that,
war
zone in the middle.
Make sure every tackle is timed to perfection now, to be quite honest.
Yeah, we've had a few reds in the senior grade already, but the free is from where the ball landed. It was after the ball was cleared, and it means that Matthew Fitzgerald will knock over another one.
That's only their second point for the free, so if you look at it, that's 111 on the scoreboard from play from Monaleen, which is good. I have a 3
now for him, about 2 or 3, whatever it is. It's been majority from play. They've really found space inside there as they win the puck out, and again try to move another score. Here's Darrell Langan. Langan skips through a few challenges, loses the ball in the process, but hops back up and puts in a huge block. I tell a lie, Ruan O'Connor is still on the field. I'm trying to work out who's gone off for Newcastle West.
In fairness to Monaleen have really upped the ante. You see there the hooking and blocking, and that's what has really benefited them.
Yeah, there's a free coming for Newcastle West. So
pause and play as we look at it. Certainly Monaleen they're getting the watermen out around the middle of the field there and getting them onto the field to play. Waiting for a ball to come back up the field.
Yeah, between Mike Quilligan and Owen Hurley, it looks to be, I think Brian Foley might be one of the men that's gone for Newcastle West at half time.
Brian Foley and Willie Hurley went.
Yeah. Brian Foley and Willie Hurley. Just thanks for confirmation of that. We're all working together here in the stand this evening as a free going to be taken by Mike Quilligan from his own 65. Long way to go. Goes tight, but doesn't go on target. It goes to the left and wide, and that's the first wide of the second half for either side. So that's 8 now for the men from the west. Yeah, it's going to be a 20-metre free or a throw-in on the 20. Tell you how much I know the rule book, probably not as well as I should, but you can't dummy it. You need to try to throw it up.
Foul the puck out.
It's effectively a foul of the ball, isn't it? It's like miss hitting the ball or any of that. And I think it is a throw-in on the 20. So Mike McMahon and Brian Kenny are going to go in first.
Unnecessary pressure on the Monaleen defence.
Yeah, although his defenders
dealt with it really well though.
Defenders have dug him out of a hole as Lachlan McHale gets on it, moves it to Lyons, and now it means that Newcastle West are maybe a little bit higher up the field than they would have liked to have been, as Seamus Hurley is beneath it, picks it one-handed, skips inside the challenge of O'Dalig, and is going to go back as under an awful lot of pressure there. Eventually it's moved on. Todd Donovan on it. In fact, that was Evan Sheehan. They work it out. Look at the amount of red jerseys around the ball as Lachlan McHale gets on it, sends it off to Murphy. Murphy going away from goal, going out towards that 20-metre line. Murphy from a tight angle hasn't brought it in enough, and that one goes to the wide, to the right and wide.
That Monaleen's first wide of the second half.
Yeah, I believe so. So Lyons is on it, and Lyons to Lyons, and moving it through the lines, and here comes Larkin Lyons. Plenty of space for him inside the scoring arc in the football, and the Lyons knocks it over. Good score by Larkin. adding to the free he got early in the piece, and
he's been really,
again, another necklace of passes working so well.
He's been really rocked there from Monaleen tonight. He's the one that started the game really, really well and very solid throughout.
Yeah, as the ball worked down the other end, is that a pick off a score? It is. It's Brian Nix, the number 29. Well, he didn't have much space to work with out in that left corner, and shot a beauty.
Another guy that played under his hurling with Limerick, let me tell you. You'd fully nearly be expecting him to start, but maybe injury or whatever the case may be, but certainly a good prospect.
That's for sure, yeah. As they bring themselves back to 10 in arrears, but you'd feel a green flag or two, like Mike McMahon landed in the game here against Kenny. Pass Kenny, breaks in around, just couldn't get it over the line. As between Brian Kenny and the goalkeeper Jamie Power, they somehow deny the ball from crossing the line, as there's a free coming here for Monaleen. Bit of a high challenge by Brian Hurley. He'd want to just watch himself as a sub coming in for Monaleen over on that far side. It is the number 26, that's Ben Hayes, part of their successful Junior B, I think, and Junior A winning team in recent seasons. So he's coming in place of
Owen Driscoll. It looks like
Owen Driscoll, the number 11, is his day is done for now at least. And
Owen Driscoll got man of the match last week, didn't he?
Have we did we put the curse in him? We did. It wasn't you or Riley anyway. So, but I know he still had a good influence on the game, I think, with.
Yeah, no, in fairness to Owen, he's worked hard tonight.
Got a nice assist and a couple of points.
Yeah, picked up a lot
in the play.
Yeah, picked up, and he popped the ball over the bar in the first half as well.
As the ball is struck by Larkin lines, goes inside. There's an early push beneath the ball. That's the second time I think that Monaleen have been pinned for that. And the free now brought forward because they've thrown the sliotar away. Just a couple of little petulant things that.
Yeah, but just we go back to the last play. The ball went into Jamie Power there, and Jamie spilled the ball. And like when that happened, Mike Willigan in the first half, he thought, "But look, the ball ended up in the back of the net." Sure. And like fair dues to Jamie, he got it. He got it
between
away.
Himself and I think his fullback Brian Kenny.
That's what I'm saying. When you get to have the luck with you, you have the luck with you.
Yeah,
that's a great score.
One is from downtown, and
Ethan Hurley, absolutely.
Ethan Hurley, opens up the shoulders, and. Much needed. They're going to need plenty more of that. It's now double scores as Ethan brings them to 9. They've worked the chart. Darrell Langan coming through the challenges. So back to lines, and they're going to go all the way back to the goalkeeper, Jamie Power. Is he going to try and match Mike Quilligan? And he's going to send it inside towards Donegal, like 1-on-1 in towards the edge of that square. Doesn't get the flight of it right, and Newcastle West will clear through the veteran goalkeeper Mike Quilligan. And beneath it again is Darrell Langan. He spills it off his hand, but Monaleen, little panic in their defensive unit when the ball breaks like that. And there's a foul there by Brian Nix, just a little bit over eager to try and dispossess Noel Clancy. And there's a free for Monaleen. 20 minutes to go. I think Monaleen will be satisfied that how they've managed this 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and in fairness, they've very early those 3 points by Donegal, like very early in the second half, in the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Yeah.
He had 3 points on the board, and the game is beginning to go in Monaleen's favour. They're 9 points up, and they're still creating chances above. So I still think there's probably a goal or two in the second half in Monaleen. They're just taking off there. Lachlan McHale there out in the field, another guy who's worked really hard tonight and kept that engine room ticking over. Yeah, so McHale is off. Conal O'Dwyn is on as the free goes wide from lines. So Conal O'Dwyn, the Limerick senior football panellist, he's wearing number 25 because they've gone into the defensive unit as again Newcastle West go long, and there's a free coming there as Darrell Langan fouls Nix. Yeah, just come in there, just a small little bit, I'd say half a second, and he would have made it hip to hip and shoulder to shoulder, but unfortunately,
especially when a fella goes to pick a ball, he's obviously going to be a little more prone.
He's always going towards the ground, so the slightest nudge, and Eamon Sableton's just pointing out there that little flick as well, to be quite honest. Look, definite free.
As Cathal Hayes knocks it over, another free for him, and 3 in a row for them. I'm sure they'd have wanted that green flag to fall their way, but nevertheless 3 in a row, something to build on. next score and all that, as they say. Works it back to Hayes, just took his eye off it, I think, probably thinking about his next move, and he's guilty of chopping down on Larkin Lyons, and that's going to be a free out. And Monaleen, no rush at all now to take these. 8 points ahead.
This is a video game tonight that when Monaleen look back on it and they'll analyse it, they'll realise that they're getting away with a few mistakes, to be quite honest. There's a few things mistimed, there's a few balls going astray, and certainly they'll look back and they'll learn a lot from this one tonight when they examine it.
Yeah, well, they'll be hoping that they'll be looking back with a quarter-final space in. It's sent through, a shot by Matthew Fitzgerald, saved by Mike Quilligan, and scrambled away by Newcastle West. That could have been curtains for Newcastle West. It could have been the victory wrapped up for Monaleen, but the game goes on. Free coming now for Con Hayes, and again, a bit like what Leo's touching on there, Monaleen will want to just wrap things up a little bit neater than that as Mike McMahon gets on it. McMahon, oh, well read was the pass by the fullback Brian Kenny. McMahon thought he'd picked off a lovely one, but Monaleen are able to cut it out. The Lyons brothers once again linking up into O'Dalik. O'Dalik gathers it, hooked well by Aaron Neville. O'Dalik, under serious pressure, switches it across towards the captain Luke Murphy, but he can't do much with it. And now Newcastle West, Top Donovan's touch is a loose one, and onto it comes Evan Sheehan, very scrappy around the middle in the last few seconds or so. Inside to Mike McMahon, met by Brian Kenny. Good full back play, and the ball squirms out over the end line.
When, like, if you look back on the first round game that we covered with Newcastle West against Mungret, Owen Hurley did all his damage in the second half in around the edge of that 35 yards within goals.
Yeah,
he got onto
like the football arc inwards, basically. Yeah.
And tonight he's doing an awful lot of his hurling 60, 70, 80 yards and goals. So you can see when when you're under pressure, you really need your good guys, the really good guys in around that, the guys that will punish, and he's one of those when he gets an opportunity.
Here's Murphy, one of the very experienced players in the team. Ball spills back off a blocked effort from Larkin Lyons. Lovely pick up inside there, Matthew Fitzgerald, but he has plenty of company as the Newcastle West man is ended up on the turf. And the advantage now played. A shot from Brian Nix. Nix, I think he's got it. Indeed he has. Lovely score by Brian Nix. And the referee is stopping his watch with his notebook out and just going to see what the result is. I think it's going to be
Newcastle West officials getting a little bit of a yellow card, I think.
Yeah, I think he was doing more appealing than he was treating, if you like. And not sure, it is Ethan Hurley, the number 6, who's on the surface, and it's Matthew Fitzgerald who gets a yellow for his action. I must say I was following the ball myself, so I'm not 100% what happened with him, but I did see the two of them grappling on the ground. So yellow card for the Monaleen number 14, and Hurley with his helmet off has a bit of treatment on his head.
Obviously there was something that Eamon saw, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I don't know, did he just push him over or did he rugby tackle him to the ground, but anyway he had the arm up for advantage. They used the advantage well, and Brian Nix knocked over what is a 4 point in a row. And again, talking about Monaleen being neat and tidy, they've just let Newcastle West chip away at that lead, and while it is still a considerable lead, they can't be happy from here that they've allowed the back door to be open once again.
Yeah, 13 minutes to go. Anything can happen now. A goal would bring Newcastle West right back into it. It's more, as I said, Monaleen are beginning to make silly mistakes, and their free counter around the middle of the field is really beginning to rise. And so, as I said, that's something that when they look back in this game that they won't be happy with. Here's
Matthew Fitzgerald breaking onto it, doesn't get it though. And there for company, Brian Hurley. And Hurley does well. Gives it back to Ruan O'Connor, clears his lines, but he has escaped his entire half-forward line and allows Darrell Langan, who's plenty of time, to try and pick a pass, but not the greatest one. Larkin Lyons had a look up before he got there. Very experienced play, I think, from him. Gives it inside to Joe Fitzgerald, and Joe sends it inside to Donnacha O'Donnell. Nice touch on the boss. Gathers it, and his arm is pulled as he tried to play the ball. He's won so much ball out in front, Leo. It's very hard to defend against, but he's just won so much, and he's just a real target for Monaleen.
Yeah, but what he has done in the second half, and is a really clever tactic, he has stayed really, really deep in around the edge of the small square, the 14-yard line, and he's coming out.
He's really holding his run to the last second.
Yeah, he's timing it to perfection. He's coming out and getting onto the ball, and you see there when he turns, goes to goal, the Newcastle West boys are inclined to panic and they're fouling him. And as I said, he's 4 points got from from play tonight, and certainly he's won 2 or 3 other frees as well from the Monaleen point of view.
Certainly on a short list for the Michael O'Connell Menswear Man of the Match, which we'll come to in due course, but the free for Matthew Fitzgerald is knocked over. We have another sub for Monaleen. Out goes Dara Furlan, the number 13, and in his place is number 21, wearing number 21, Mark Field.
These are all guys, in fairness to them, that have really come through with Monaleen underage in the last number of years, last 5 or 6 years. They've been involved in failing the Gales and stuff and so forth, so they'll be really happy that they're bringing through their young players.
Ball is attempted to be shot by Mike D. It's blocked, but it comes back to Newcastle West man. That's Con Hayes. Hayes dropping it around the square. Good goalkeeping by Power, driving out with it and clearing their lines in Newcastle West. That direct shot option hasn't yielded much just yet. Bit of a loopy pass there, as again Brian Hurley eager to try and get it back. Just knows though he's on a yellow, can't overcommit to those challenges. Seamus Hurley breaks it down, but again Monaleen are there on the break, not letting Newcastle West come away. There's a chop in there, and again the ball is brought forward. Again Monaleen, I mean, if they're going to with the greatest respect to Newcastle West, if Monaleen, and looks very likely now that they're going to be in a quarter final, they're going to be up against teams much more experienced that won't give them as much time and space. They can't be doing things like giving away 13 metres for throwing the ball away. That's just going to count against them, Like
as I said, it's one
in a tight game especially.
Yeah, exactly, and it's one that they'll look back on tonight. I know there's very little to play for at the minute, and it looks like they're going to get home. There's 10 minutes to go now, and it looks like they're well capable of finishing out this one. That one goes over the bar.
Huge score by Mike Quilligan, yeah.
But look, these are things that Monaleen will look at tonight and really have to learn from them.
That's for sure, because that free suddenly became scoreable, as Mike Quilligan proved. So leaving the ball there would have meant that it probably wasn't the point at the other end, as Joe Fitzgerald knocks it inside. O'Dollig once again out in front, but this time he's unable to gather it. The ball worked up to Brian Nix looking for another one. Nix plants his feet, sends it high into the Rackhill sky. Brian Nix, brilliant, straight over the blue spot here in the home of Rackhill GA. Brilliant score. You can see that quality.
20 minutes into the second half, he came on at half time and he's 3 points and scored from play. Absolutely superb. You can see what he's doing, coming out in front of his man, turning and striking the ball off his left and over the bar. Yeah. Very, 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 very efficient. Yeah,
I believe it's been an injury that has halted his, I suppose, more extensive use. But again, they're not throwing in the towel. Con Hayes sending it into Mike McMahon, met there by Canny, pulls it off on the run. It's going to be worked inside. Here's Nix. Oh, he almost had it. They still might have it. Another chance. Hooked again. Newcastle West desperate for a
free in.
Yeah, free in is coming. It's going to cross the square. Mike McMahon breaks down upon it, but it is a free in coming, and it's very, very small margins. If someone could have got that to hand a bit sooner, the shot was on. And in fairness, decent enough scramble defence from Monaleen as well.
Absolutely, yeah, but the half chance was there. Ball, if it went to hand that time, the ball was in the back, it was going to end up in the back of the net. He had that 2 yards, but unfortunately for him, the ball didn't go to hand.
Now 6 points in it, 8 minutes on your clock. Ethan Hurley coming up for this,
bringing it back down to a 5-point game. This one goes over the bar.
Or is he? Because why is he coming up to take it? I think a number of the forwards would knock this over. Is he thinking about it?
There's no point in bringing him up if he doesn't go for it.
4 Monaleen, now 5 Monaleen men in his way. Hurley drills it over. I'm not sure about the play there, but...
And he's making his way back down the field now. Just
a long way home from there, but yeah, he's certainly shoved up from that centre back
position.
He's
gone out midfield now. And they've reverted back Mike Cremin, another lad who came through the Limerick Underage Academy, let me tell you, over the years, and certainly a good, very prominent hurler for Newcastle West.
Yeah, look at this Monaleen with all their forwards over on the right hand side of the field as we look at it. I know you won't see it from your from our camera, but now spreading across is they have to get the ball. Yes, Simon Griffin gets on it, does well. Again, they're coming in, bringing themselves into trouble. Newcastle West would, I think the roof was beginning to lift off this as if they could get another score. Con Hayes has done it. Hayes has landed another one. So, well, Leo O'Connor, we're back to 4 points.
We're back to a 4-point game with 8 minutes to go. And we commented on this, Tom, about 8-10 minutes ago, that Monaleen had lost their concentration. And just were beginning to spill ball, give away frees, and a few things now were beginning to register from Newcastle West point of view. So back in the game and all to play for.
Mark O'Dwyer has been introduced. He's wearing the number 18. He's gone straight into centre forward. Monaleen have decided not to take anyone off, and now they have, in the form of the cornerback Simon Griffin. Yeah. So
Mark O'Dwyer, a player with a lot of experience, let me tell you, lovely hurler, great set of hands.
Another man really hampered by injury since that All-Ireland intermediate run. He just never got a clean look at it. Was involved in the Limerick panel, but couldn't get the injuries right, I believe, at the start of that season. It was 2023. As Lyons gets on it, flashes it inside, grappling inside there. To be perfectly honest, as one of the neutrals in the stand here, I think that was 6-1. I think the forward sometimes will pull the hurley as much as the back will. I'll give the defender the benefit of the doubt there, as Con Hayes, who's come thundering into this one in the second half, sending it inside. There's a little nudge in the back, and suddenly we may have a 3-point game.
Yeah.
With just 5 minutes to go.
Let's be honest about it. Newcastle West have upped the work rate, have upped the ante in a big time here in the last 5-6 minutes.
5 of the last 6 points?
Yeah, exactly.
You could rewind even further before that, like they had 3 before that, so 8 of the last 9.
Yeah, but it seems that Monaleen have lost their concentration. The game, they thought they were home and hosed, and it began to drift. And this is the result of it now. Yeah,
Cathal Hayes nails it. His dander is up. Newcastle West is up. And their scoreboard is up to 16. 1 goal in it. 116 plays 16 points. Who would rule out a 4th draw for Newcastle West at this point?
Yeah.
Just under 4 minutes of the regulation to go. Broken down, but again, there's a black jersey beneath it. But Darragh Langan, as so often this evening, gets onto a loose ball for Monaleen. Mark O'Dwyer tried to pull on it, comes back to him. You can see his hamstring heavily strapped. Darragh Langan in traffic and passes it backwards over his head. A bit of a blind pass, and it means Seamus Hurley can get in at it. There's another free there. Mike Quilligan is coming straight out, and Monaleen are in danger of sleepwalking their way out of the quarter-final berth for now, at least.
Yeah, but a draw will do them Monaleen tonight to get them into the quarter-final. But certainly there's a few things that you see and they begin to slip. And suddenly, like that hand pass by Darragh Langan, when he looks at that back in the video, that was a blind hand pass thrown it back over his head. Like,
you kind of want him to go backwards a couple of steps, pop it off to someone.
Keep your composure, just keep the composure.
Quilligan powers it through, and I think he's got it. Indeed he has, straight and true from Mike Quilligan.
Leading point scorer from a goalkeeper's point of view in the Limerick Senior Hurling Championship.
Well, I don't think there's too many.
3 tonight.
Yeah, 3 tonight. One for play. Absolutely. And another one for them. Suddenly 2 points in it. 3.5 minutes, and you can feel the Newcastle West folk around us starting to believe there is a result here, including some of the backroom team here in the Stream Sport production. Ball is cut. Newcastle West gather it. Hayes again. He's been everywhere in the second half. Unfortunately, he's passed out. Doesn't find a jersey, a Newcastle West jersey that is. Monaleen looking for something. Ball is over carried by Luke Murphy. And protests aplenty from the Monaleen players. Well, maybe not so the players, but the management over on that far side. They're not happy with it. And Mike Quilligan is going to try and add to his tally. Well, ball was picked up eventually by the Monaleen man who went through the challenge one.
There was a little bit. Yeah, there was kind of a wild.
Yeah, he met by Todd Donovan in the way, and probably not enough in it, but the free is given. Mike Quilligan. Quilligan hits it and looks at it straight away. He heads for home because he knows he's nailed another one.
1 point game.
1 point game.
15 minutes to go, Monaleen. We're 10 points up. And we're down to a 1 point game with 2.5 minutes to go.
anyone listening when I say we were writing them off. Well, we were only trying to motivate them. They're back to a point, 116-18. Ball eventually to a Monaleen man. It's Ronan Lyons looking inside. There's going to be cover there in front of Donncha O'Donnell. He goes foraging for it. The ball has gone wide, and Monaleen needs something, you feel, because this Newcastle wave is getting stronger, it's getting higher, and we're going to have to retake the puck out, I'm sure.
Newcastle was stopping the play at the far side, trying to get someone onto the field, are they?
Yeah, they are indeed. Yeah, the man with the Mike D has gone off anyway, and who is coming in?
He's just after coming in there. His leg is heavily strapped there. He's walking towards us. We can't. Dermot Lyons.
Oh yes, Dermot Lyons. Yeah, wearing the number 8 jersey, was listed to start. Didn't start due to the knock that Leo mentioned. So sub for them with a minute to go. Another man, Leo, there's so many on the field. Another man with intercounty experience with minors and 20s with Limerick.
Yeah.
And part of the SMI success as well, I believe, earlier this year. As Mike Quilligan goes long, looking for the other Mike. Yeah, Mike McMahon beneath it. Ball skims off the surface. It's going to go all the way through to the other number, Jamie Power, and he can tidy up for Monaleen. The clock coming against them as there's a spare arm tackle there. Monaleen work it out. They're going to get their free back inside their own, probably inside their own 65 really, as Eamon Stapleton indicated there.
They'll probably get 2 or 3 minutes. There was one injury up here that took. Both players were down at one stage. Ethan Hurley was down as well, so they'll probably get 2 or 3 minutes injury time. Monaleen would really want to be converting their chances.
They would, yeah. We're into the last few seconds here of the regulation 60 as Larkin Lyons stands over this one. Lifts, puts plenty of height on it, but it's tailing to the left. It's going to stay in. It's met there by a Newcastle West defender. O'Donnell is going to win the race, and O'Donnell going to want to take another score of his own. It's blocked. Oh, that's so fortunate. It comes all the way to Joe Fitzgerald. Joe Fitzgerald nails it. And the bounce of the ball went the way of Monaleen on that occasion, and Joe Fitz profited and a badly needed score after conceding 7 in a row. They've steadied themselves up. Huge roar from the Monaleen support here in Rathkeale. Ball breaking again. Rathkeale or Newcastle West, as they've done in all 3 games, haven't given up the ghost yet. Ball worked inside. The free waves play on as Noel Clancy meets Brian Nix. Clancy tidies it up, gives it back. There's a high challenge in there, and I think it's Mark O'Dwyer back there foraging, wins his free out. Good experience, goes back, wins the ball, wins the free. And
yeah, when the pressure came on there, Newcastle West just creaked there in the last minute or two. In with a major shout after doing all the work, all the hard work, getting back into it, and then to giving away a silly free like that.
Yeah, even the one before that as well, just to,
yeah,
you know, trying to force fella to over carry the ball. Don't give him the opportunity to meet your illegal arm really, as Jamie Power looks for the corner flag really, sends it over to that far side. Comes up off the helmet, I think, of one of the Monaleen players. There's Conal O'Dwyn, the number 15. O'Donnell comes a long way from goal. Oh, lovely little bounce pass. They work it inside. No, Ethan Hurley will gather it. He's got a free coming here for Newcastle West. They're going to clear their lines. There's no one there. They're going to get the free. And going to be another Hail Mary. Now, we don't know what's left on the referee's clock, but I'd imagine there's possibly another 60 seconds. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Knock it over.
2 points down. This one has to land in the edge of the square. By the time this is going to be hit, you're going to be 2 minutes into injury time. So
the obvious is you don't want this to go wide. You just don't.
Yeah, you don't need this to go wide. But
even if it drops in the 20, something can happen from there, can't it? So
yeah, absolutely. And it'll be all hands to the deck here now for Monaleen to defend this.
Quilligan.
Here it is in.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's going to drop. Where's it going? Oh, it skims to the right and wide. Well, there was a number of sticks, a number of red and black jerseys beneath it. Wow.
Monaleen are very, very
Talk
lucky
about
there.
The bounce of the ball in the first half, Leo.
Yeah, exactly. I said it early in commentary. You know, that ball bounced there, bounced wide, and
Monaleen crowding the space over here, but they're gone short with the puck out. Larkin Lyons gathers it, puts it on his Hurley. He's escaped the clutches, so he's going to angle one across the field. In fact, he's going to go straight inside towards Donncha O'Donnell. O'Donnell met. Oh, lovely pick up by Ethan Hurley. What a time to get one off. Todd Donovan tries to work it out. They do. Michael Kremen gets on it. Kremen sends it inside to Brian Nix. Going to have to go in around the square. Mike McMahon is poised and ready on the edge of that Monaleen square. Nix from the middle of the field. I think he's put an awful lot on that. Has it gone to the left? It has. And I wonder with that, has their chance gone of stealing something from this game?
Yeah, certainly looks like it at this stage. Oh, the puck out, has it gone? It has.
Ronan Lyons gets the bounce perfect into his run as Ben Hayes gets on it. Hayes has the advantage of a free.
Wins a free.
And that should be the insurance now to put them 3 up. Well, we must tip our hats to Newcastle West. They did not throw in the towel. We saw that the first night against Munger. They were 10 down in the first half. They came back to draw. They almost did it here. It looks as if their race is run.
It certainly does, but from Monaleen point of view, Monaleen are definitely in the quarter-final now, because in the puck out probably comes here. He's probably
and promoted with that as well.
And promoted with that up to Tier 1 hurling next year, and really need to stay there next year. But more importantly, from the Monaleen point of view, I know we said that they lost their concentration, they drifted out of the game and let Monaleen back into it, but they've really, in the last couple of minutes, last 4 or 5 minutes, when the pressure came on, they got their composure, they went back to doing really, really well. Here we go, a long puck out down top of Mike McMahon. This is it.
Maybe I was quick to write them off. There's still time. I thought we might have been done. A goal in it. It's green flag or nothing now for Newcastle West. Someone wants to get a hold of this ball. Someone going to kick it out the side. Where is it? You have 26 players inside in that D, more or less. Comes off a red jersey. Newcastle West going for goal. Where's it gone? Flashes over the bar. Well, I thought for a second it was dipping under, but it's Con Hayes. Well, it dipped too late, and I think that may well be that. Wow.
It is. It looks like.
That's how close they came to snatching a 4 tries, calling for the ball. And there is the full-time whistle. Congratulations to Monaleen. 4 wins from 4. But my God, did they make hard work of it.
Listen, absolutely. It was a game that they always had in their bag, to be quite honest, Monaleen. But certainly one that lapse in concentration for 10 minutes in the second half, and you see at this level, you can't allow that. And teams like Newcastle West got 5 out of the 6 scores in a row and in that period, and brought themselves back into it and really worked hard. When they look back in it, Monaleen will have learned a lot from tonight. Certainly Newcastle West will have, without shadow of a doubt, I think, to be quite honest, will have learned an awful lot as well, and one that they'll look forward to now to the last game in this tier.
Yeah. Now, I suppose the context for Monaleen is they've won the group. They're in a quarter-final. Their last game for them is a little bit irrelevant. They've the 4 wins from 4. They cannot be capped by anyone. But for Newcastle West, they're going to have to wait and see now what happens in the other 2 games of the weekend. 3 points, maybe enough to keep them in senior, but I suppose they'll have to go into that last round knowing that a win is needed, or maybe a draw is needed to ensure senior hurling for 2026. And I know they'll say to me, Leo, that wasn't their aim for the year, but I mean, when you come up a grade, it has to be your first primary aim, is to make sure you're in that grade the following year again.
Absolutely. More importantly, we have a job now to name man of the match. And a tough decision tonight, but I suppose the man that really, the difference between winning and losing tonight from Monaleen has been Donegal Dálaigh. Started the game gingerly is the word I would use, to be quite honest, and then when it really, the start of the second half, and Monaleen really needed him, 3 points in the first 4 minutes of the second half from Donegal Dálaigh. So he's our Michael Connell menswear man of the match tonight.
Yeah, there he is on screen, the number 15. 4 points, 3 of those in, I think, just under 3 minutes to start the second half. That was what turned out really to be the insurance that they needed to take the victory here. But victory for them, promotion to the top tier, and well, we'll try and catch a word with him in a minute. But for so far this evening, signing off, and thank you, Leo O'Connor, for your company as ever this evening. Thanks to everyone in Rathkeale. We will keep the stream live, and we'll try and catch a word from the winning and indeed promoted camp, Monaleen, in a moment. Is again not the cleanest of strikes, but his forwards asked to make something of it, as Cathal Hayes does. Mike D gets on it. D sends it up into the air, and Mike T with the ideal opening shot and opening score for his side. And Darrell Langan meets Brian Foley with the shoulder, but Con Hayes picks up the pieces. It is just dropped in there. Yeah, no one told me that in the junior rematch of the night. But anyway, here we go. Ball moved inside and looking to get in front. Cathal Hayes does well, spins his man beautifully. And Furland and O'Dalik holds off his man. O'Dalik racing through. O'Dalik's going to have a go from here. O'Dalik sends it over. Monaleen turn it over. The chance for Luke Murphy from a very, very tight angle. Brilliant score from Luke Murphy. Up and decides to pick a pass which finds its way to Matthew Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald out in that 45. Is he hit late? Well, it doesn't really matter because it's gone over.
Clever goalkeeping.
Yeah. Watch the switch. Quilligan opens the shoulders. Is it going to turn in? It is. Beautiful score. Yeah, Andrew Latouche Cosgrove is underneath this one. We'll get it at the second attempt. He lengthens the grip then, and Andrew Latouche Cosgrove, when he's played, he's been a real talent. Speaking of talent, Dara Furland from the middle of the field. That one is going to just tuck in. Suggest on his back. D rampaging through the middle, flicks it for himself. Eventually though, the number of red jerseys get in his way. Lyons sends it inside. It's breaking inside there. Has it gone in? It is! It skipped into the net. Through Dara Furland, move it all the way off now. Owen O'Driscoll from between the 45 and 65. O'Driscoll's effort. The umpire goes for the hurling again. Gives it across to Joe Fitz. Joe Fitz has time, takes his solo, and Joe Fitz on the run. Brilliant score. And responded so far. Big breaking ball inside there as the ball worked back to Owen Hurley. And finally Newcastle Ronan Lyons sends it inside, looking for O'Dalik. Loves that ball dropped in front of him. O'Dalik puts the brakes on, has a go, and the umpire reaches for that flag. 65 flicks it inside for Latouche Cosgrove, who's kind of swapped probably since the end of the first quarter. O'Dalik comes on the turn, and O'Dalik tidies it up, and Lyons and passes it off to the runner, who was Lachlan McHale. McHale though does well, and O'Dalik looking for another one, and Donegal O'Dalik. Larkin Lyons, plenty of space for him inside the scoring arc in the football, and the Lions knocks it over. Good score.
And very solid throughout.
Yeah, is the ball worked down the other end? Is that a pick off a score? It is. It's Brian Nix, the number 2. Kenny,
that's what I'm saying. When you get to have the look with you, you have the look with you.
Yeah,
that's a great score.
Is from downtown.
When they examine it.
Yeah, well, they'll be hoping that they'll be looking back with a quarter-final space in. It's sent through a shot and the advantage. Okay, you're very welcome back to the Bog Garden here in Rathkeale, where I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Owen Breslan, the winning manager, and indeed Donnacha O'Dalik, the man of the match here. And Donnacha, just to present you with your Michael Collin menswear voucher for man of the match. Congratulations, 4 points from play. I suppose I'll start with yourself, Donnacha. The scoreboard behind me, I'd say 20 minutes ago it looked an awful lot healthier. Now I know you've obviously won, but I tell you, Newcastle West threw the absolute kitchen sink at you there in the last 15-20 minutes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like when you come into the game, they're going to bring a right big battle. Like obviously a bit of a football stronghold out there. They're going to be working hard. They're going to be tracking back. They're going to be running the ball out from defence. Like, and they first them, they go under freeze. They converted them. Luckily, we got a bit of a score there at the start of the second half and got to build a bit of a lead. But yeah, fair credit to Newcastle West. They really did put up to us at the end, and we got a few vital scores there to kind of seal the deal. But yeah, full credit to Newcastle West.
From your own point of view, it's 4 wins from 4 now. It's promotion to the top. It's in a quarter final. That's the objective. I'm sure that this man here beside me would have outlaid you to start here. That was the aim for you coming into this group. You've done it now with a game to spare.
Yeah, 100%. We got there last year, probably unlucky against Patricksville. Kind of in it until like the last 10 minutes they kind of pulled away, but like we've another year under the belt. Now the lads are a year older, like, so the aim was to get back there again this year and kind of just see how we get on again, like how all the work during the winter kind of comes to us, like, and how we can kind of give a better challenge now in the quarterfinals this year and hopefully push on again.
Yeah, Owen promoted into a quarter final. That's job done, but I can tell you it couldn't have been easy watching there the last 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, listen, it was as Donnacha said there, listen, we'd spoken about, I suppose the thing for us was like we'd mungered last Friday night, and they gave us a 13-point trim in there 2 years ago, and I suppose a lot of our focus was on that and trying to get over that, and a lot of emotion went into that, and so we were trying to get down off that high and then get back up for this again, and that we met Monday night and we spoke about it and all this, but like as I say, you can speak about it all day long, but it's actually trying to execute. So the first 10 minutes of the first half there, we were in fairness, Newcastle West, they came with everything, you know, and really went at us, you know. Then our guys, we battled in again and showed a bit of class, and then after half time, we've been doing that after half time all year, kind of coming, we've only got 2 or 3 great score starting off.
He
But
got
then-
three and three inside 3 minutes. I think it was,
three, yeah. So like that was a great start. And then we just seemed to listen. We let the foot off the gas, and but it's not us letting the foot off the gas either. In fairness, teams were coming at us and coming at us and coming at us. So, and like you're playing, they had a strong breeze in the second half. So listen, come here. We knew it was going to be a tough even this evening, and we're just delighted to get the win and get out of here.
Yeah, you have to dig into your panel. I know Marco Dwyer, who's looked heavily strapped. You're calling on a bit of experience there in the end, because I suppose when the tide's against you like that, you need someone to go in. I think he went back. He might have won a free here in the last maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It's little moments like that you need especially when a team has the momentum that Newcastle West had.
Yeah, and that's it. And I suppose it's about, from our point of view, that we have a good panel, and that we just have confidence in them and trust them to go in and do a job. And we've been doing that all year. And listen, Mark was hurt his groin there and missed the last day, and he's very anxious to get back in. He's working hard, and he was unfortunate to get a bad injury there 3 years ago, and he's still fighting to get back. But he's super experienced and all the rest. But Ben Hayes and Omar's only like 18 years of age, like super guy to come in there, and in fairness, Conor Din came back to after Limerick footballers. He's only kind of getting back up to speed, but he's a good guy to come in and mark someone and do a job. So listen, you have to, as I say, it's a panel game, and it's fresh legs and keeping going there in the last 5 minutes is important, you know.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the guys that came in there. The importance for Monaleen, and I think maybe some people overlook this, of the second team that you've had in the last few years. They've won 2 county titles in a row, Junior B and a Junior A.
Yeah.
And I get the sense that those guys are really driving things at training. Those guys are, I suppose, they're on the fringes of the panel in a lot of cases, but they're certainly guys you need, because at senior now you can't be training with only 15 or 20 lads anymore. Everyone wants 25, 30 or more at training if you can at all.
Yeah, we had 63 at training there about 3 Sundays ago. So that's the other side of it. So, but we have
the priest there. The only one not there.
Well, when we came in 4 years ago, we said, listen, so it's like the juniors got relegated from Junior A to Junior B. The seniors got relegated back to intermediate. So we came in as, listen, we're all in this together, and so. Which was great, and it's after escalating because there's huge numbers coming through. So yeah, we have a good Junior B team, we have a good Junior A team, and we've a decent senior team. So listen, it's great, but as in fairness to Trevor and Ger and Eamon and Wise and Niall McIntyre, training needs to be managed. When you have big numbers like that, it needs to be managed. But it's great just because like every team feeds off each other. It's good, you know.
Yeah. We don't know who you're going to be playing in the quarter final. You have another game before that, so how do you approach that? And then I'm sure there's plenty that you'll look back in here, and you need to sharpen up on ahead of whoever it is in that quarter final.
Yeah, so that game's on in 2 weeks' time, and the quarter finals the week after. So listen, you want to keep momentum going, and you want to try and you treat it like every other game. You want to win the game. Like you don't want to go out and say, we're going to lose this game, and then we're going to win the day after. So you're just trying to keep momentum going. Again, try and get a few minutes into the likes of Mark Dwyer if we can at all, and keep building on momentum. And listen, as I said, we're going to a quarter final. Norm, again, a bit like last year, we've, as Donegal was saying there, we've a bit of experience. We in last year, like really hoping to give it a good lash, you know, and like we found ourselves in the mixer, and that we probably should have won that game with 17 wides to their 6, and probably a bit of experience told in the end, and like we're hoping that we're a year wiser this year, and that like a year older, and that we can have a crack. I don't know who we're playing, or we don't know yet, but listen, for the thing about for this year for us, it was all about ourselves getting ourselves right, and it'll be no different for the next day.
Yeah, okay. Well, Tom Clancy signing off here in the Bog Garden in Rathkeale. Thanks very much to Owen, and thanks to Donegal. Thanks to everyone here in Rathkeale, and do join us on our 3 streams, 2 tomorrow evening, Friday, and 1 on Saturday over the weekend. Slán go fóill. Now played a shot from Brian Nix. Nix, I think he's got it. Indeed he has. Lovely score by Brian Nix.
Very little to play for at the minute, and look, it looks like they're going to get home. There's 10 minutes to go now, and it looks like they're well capable of finishing out this one. That one goes over the bar.
Huge score by Mike. All worked up to Brian Nix. Nix looking for another one. Nix plants his feet, sends it high into the Rathkeale sky. Brian Nix, brilliant, straight over the blue. 4 Monaleen, now 5 Monaleen men in his way. Hurley drills it over, and not sure, bringing themselves into trouble. Newcastle West would, I think the roof was beginning to lift off this as if they could get another score. Con Hayes has done it. Hayes has landed another one.
It's the game they thought they were home and hosed, and it began to drift, and this is the result of it now.
Yeah, Cathal Hayes nails it.
Keep your composure, just keep the composure.
Quilligan powers it through, and I think he's got it. Indeed he has, straight and true. The free is given. Mike Quilligan Quilligan hits it and looks at it straight away. He heads for take another score of his own. It's blocked. Oh, that's so fortunate. It comes all the way to Joe Fitzgerald. Joe Fitzgerald nails it.
I know we said that they lost their concentration, they drifted out of the game and let Monaleen back into it, but then
inside in that D, more or less. Comes off a red jersey, Newcastle West going for goal. Where's it gone? Flashes over the bar, and there is the full-time whistle. Congratulations to Monaleen. 4 wins from 4, but my God, did they make hard work of it.
And listen, absolutely. It was a game that they always had.